called him the brother leader, a revolutionary, a tyrant. For 42 years, Gaddafi ruled Libya with an iron fist. Outlandish convoys, golden pistols, and the country's GDP as his bank account. Over the years, Gaddafi had shared some interesting ideas with the world. Some liked them, others laughed at him, while a few others hated them. But the year 2011 was different. Presidents and leaders were getting thrown off left and right. Gaddafi knew he was next. But what he didn't know was that he was about to get betrayed by key players moving the strings behind the scenes. Who were the key players after him? Why? And what exactly happened on the dusty streets of Sirte, where Gaddafi made his last stand? We modeled the entire thing to take you through Gaddafi's last 24 hours. It's 2 p.m., October 19th, 2011. Gaddafi is in a secret empty building in the southern deserted area of Sirte, an area dominated by loyalist tribes. He's been hiding here for almost 2 months after the rebel forces had conquered the capital Tripoli. He's accompanied by his son, Mu'tasim Gaddafi, his army chief Abu Bakr Yunus Jabr, his security chief Mansour Dao, and a group of heavily armed regime loyalists. While Gaddafi was complaining about the lack of clean water and low electricity, his army chief had just received news about how rebels are close to taking over Sirte. The men around him knew what was coming. The security chief approaches Gaddafi separately, trying to talk some sense into him and convince him to flee the country, but Gaddafi doesn't want to hear none of it. What he heard, though, was his last standing men telling him through radio that the last loyalist district of Sirte just fell. It's only a matter of time until rebels discover his location. Everyone in the room knew it was the beginning of the end. It's early morning of October 20th, 2011. Rebel forces had already secured much of Sirte, but the final pockets of Gaddafi's resistance remained concentrated in District 2 of the city's center. The rebels are spending the early morning hours consolidating their positions, reinforcing their lines, and further restricting Gaddafi's ability to escape. They're slowly closing in on District 2, where his last combatants are positioned. The rebels bombarded key buildings known to be holding loyalist fighters. It was only a matter of time before they purged the entire area. But the rebels are still unaware that Gaddafi is not in District 2. He was a few kilometers away, hiding in a compound south of the city center, the only place the rebels didn't look through. Gaddafi and his crew are trapped. Most of Libya is under revolutionary rule. Most of his followers are either dead or turned against him. His chief of security suggests that they need to go west to Misrata. Maybe there, they could sneak their way into the airport's landing strip and get away with a jet or a helicopter. To that, Gaddafi agrees, but they can't move now. The convoy's noise could get them noticed and caught. Following a majority decision, Gaddafi, his son, and his last men decide to wait for a few more hours. The clock is ticking. Today, many careers clocks are also ticking. With AI taking over the world and the job markets looking like a roller coaster, developing high-income skills has never been more crucial. And what's a better place to do that than Brilliant, the sponsor of today's video? Brilliant is a platform for learning math, computer science, data analysis, and AI that helps you get smarter every day. The thing about Brilliant is that you learn with interactive examples. So you don't learn by memorizing lectures, you learn by doing, which is a much more effective way to learn. Replace mindless scrolling with meaningful learning. With Brilliant's mobile app, you can learn valuable skills during your daily travels, turning unproductive time into a powerful investment in your future. There are thousands of interactive lessons to choose from. It doesn't matter if you're a total beginner or more advanced, there's courses for every level. You can try this course to get started with Python, or this course to learn data analysis. It includes problems with real data sets from big, well-known companies. To learn for free on Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/Zufri. Scan the QR code on screen or click on the link in the description. Brilliant's also given our viewers 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on Brilliant. It's 8:30 a.m., October 20th, 2011. Gaddafi and crew are trying to escape. They assemble a convoy of 25 vehicles. Gaddafi is in a car somewhere in the middle. It would be impossible for the convoy to cut through the city without getting ambushed. They decide to take a peripheral route leading them out of Sirte. Just when the convoy was about to exit the city, it got intercepted. Not by the rebels, but by NATO forces. A Royal Air Force Panavia Tornado, during a reconnaissance mission, spotted the convoy while moving fast after NATO forces intercepted a satellite phone call made by Gaddafi. In less than a minute, the NATO aircraft fires on 21 of the vehicles, destroying several. An American Predator drone, controlled from a base near Las Vegas, fired missiles at the convoy, hitting many of the moving targets. A moment later, French Air Force Mirage 2000D fighter jets continued the bombing. The NATO bombing immobilized much of the convoy and killed dozens of loyalist fighters. After a big strike, the convoy split into several groups, with a follow-up strike destroying 11 vehicles. Gaddafi and company had become more and more isolated. Rebel units on the ground heard the explosions nearby. They immediately assembled several armed cars and moved on site. It's 11 a.m. It's been a couple of hours since rebel units and what's left of Gaddafi's fighters started engaging in a ground fire exchange. A few hundred meters away, Gaddafi's son was caught in a NATO airstrike that killed him on the spot. Out of the 25-car convoy, only 5 men were left standing: Gaddafi and 4 others. 2 of Gaddafi's men decided to separate from the group to look for another car. Gaddafi and 2 others managed to escape on foot and sought refuge in 2 large drainage pipes, but rebel forces quickly closed in. Desperately, the men with Gaddafi started shooting at the incoming rebels, but they were clearly outnumbered. Gaddafi's companion threw a grenade at the rebels, but it hit a wall above and landed close. The guard jumped on it, protecting Gaddafi, leading to his death and complicating Gaddafi's wounds. One of Gaddafi's men came out waving his rifle in the air with a white turban announcing his surrender. Rebel units are finally at the end of the drainage pipes. Gaddafi comes out crawling. He was then dragged up to his feet, wobbling and wounded with clear signs of shock. But at this point, he's still alive and conscious. At exactly noon, October 20th, 2011, Muammar Gaddafi was officially caught. Rebels take him to the back of a pickup truck. Some are shouting while others are demanding to keep him alive. Gaddafi mumbled, saying, "What's wrong? What's going on?" He was clearly dazed and in a state of shock. All available footage shows Gaddafi still breathing while rebels are telling each other to keep him alive. But a few minutes later, as soon as all cameras go off, Gaddafi takes his last breath in the back of an ambulance. The 42-year reign had come to an end. But why? Who was actually behind it? Many questions are left without answers. At 4:30 p.m., Mahmoud Jibril, the NTC Prime Minister, confirmed the news that Colonel Gaddafi was dead.
After 42 years of dictatorship, of the worst kind of regimes in the world, I don't think humanity has ever seen such type of regime, We did it. Those young people did it.
According to Jibril, Gaddafi died just minutes away from the hospital. To decide the cause of death, a forensic report had to be made. The same day, the doctor concluded that the colonel had died from bullet wounds when the car he was in was caught in crossfire. Many of the rebel leaders supported this version, but a man claiming to be an eyewitness told the BBC that he saw Gaddafi being shot with a 9mm gun in the abdomen at around 12:30 p.m. And initial video footage seemed to show his body being dragged, which is a different version from the rebel authorities. The interim Libyan authorities decided to keep Gaddafi's body for a few days. The new oil minister, Ali Tarhouni, said the rebels want to make sure that everybody knows he is dead. One video showed Gaddafi's body on display in the center of an emptied public freezer in Misrata. Some people traveled hundreds of kilometers to see proof that Gaddafi was gone. After his capture and elimination, the fate of Muammar Gaddafi's body became a major issue. An NTC spokesman stated they would return Gaddafi's body to his family for a secret burial. However, the Misrata Military Council quickly overruled this, choosing to bury him immediately and rejecting an autopsy. On October 25, 2011, NTC representatives announced they had secretly buried Gaddafi and his son in the desert. NATO intervened in Libya following a United Nations Security Council resolution that authorized the use of all necessary measures to protect Libyan civilians from Muammar Gaddafi's forces. In other words, mostly the United States and France wanted Gaddafi gone. They ramped up the rebellion forces with arms, launched airstrikes on Gaddafi's military bases, and prepared aids for the new authority even before Gaddafi was overthrown. A textbook example on how to overthrow a regime. Gaddafi's Pan-African vision was a recurring theme throughout his leadership, especially in the 1980s and 1990s. He frequently advocated for a stronger and more integrated Africa. He proposed the gold dinar as a unified African currency, a currency backed by gold and independent from international banking and Western control. During Gaddafi's time, Libyans had free healthcare and education. Housing was affordable, and even electricity was free. Petrol was as cheap as bottled water. Interest-free loans for newlyweds, and no import fees for most products. Today, Libya is a mess. The country is split up with different groups constantly fighting. The economy is ruined and people are struggling, and it doesn't look like things will get better anytime soon. If you like our video style and curious about our animations, we made a package with over 60 assets, 3D animations, and pictures that you could use in any way you see fit, completely free of charge. Click the link in the description and claim our gift to you. Subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.